Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back in War Thunder, and it's time to have a look at the changelogs, which have been happening over the last, week or so. Basically, I've been saving these up since update 1.89, just because I thought, well, there's other stuff to cover, and I thought, let's get round to them now. There's been a bunch of economy changes, bug fixes, and also some interesting ammunition, which has been added to specific vehicles. But before we do that, it's time to have a look at the new trophy case. Update 1.89 has obviously come out, and with every update you get a new trophy case, and this one is the Imperial Navy one. You can see that there are many little skins on offer. If you want to see the full amount of skins, what you can do is go to the market and hover over the actual box itself, or click on it, and it will show you the variety of skins that are available. As you can see, there is quite a few top tier ones and also some very, very, very nice ones. There is one skin which I do disagree with on the marketplace that I've seen, and this skin is a skin for the T-34 German edition, you know, the captured one, and it's a forest camouflage. It's green and brown. All I can see is this is going to cause hell when it comes to simulator battles. Even though it has the cross on the front of it, imagine if it's just walking past you in a simulator battle. You're going to get a lot of friendly team kills with that camouflage if you know, people have it on. But overall, there are some really nice camos on offer, and generally I only pick up camos if they are a little bit on the cheaper end. But now, since the World War modes, the first season's over, I have a bit of gaijin coins, so I'll definitely be looking to pick some of these up. As always, the way that you get these trophies is either by purchasing them on the market or earning them in-game. And then also, for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners, the key and trophy is also available for Golden Eagles in the in-game item shop, so you can see it there as well. You can see there's 20 coupons for ground vehicles, 14 for aircraft, 4 for fleet, 2 for helicopters, and the helicopters and the fleet ones have definitely been stepped up. You can see there's one for the Leander here, and of course, as you can see, for the French helicopters, the wonderful Tiger skin. But anyway, let's get into the updates, or the changelogs. The first one happened actually either the day or the day after the patch for update 1.89, and it seemed like somebody made a bit of a boo-boo, because if you have a look at the prices here, the F-86K, the Super Mr. B2, and a lot of the new vehicles that were at top tier for ground forces, you know, the Flarak, the ADATs, the Roland 1, Leclerc, Ariete Type 16, and Stormer, they all massively went up in RP and also SL costs. So as they added these to the game, especially the F-86K, like less than half what it was actually worth, or at least what it was bumped up to straight after the update. So this just seems to me like an error when it comes to it, the update itself, or maybe they were lower on the dev server so more people could research them, or something like that, or maybe a decision was made that if people wanted to gold them, it would be a little bit cheaper this time at the start of the update than before. Because think about it this way, right? With this added in, with this change to RP costs, think about how many people at the start of updates gold out vehicles. Now, you may not think there's a ton of them. There's at least a few. You know, there's going to be at least a few for every nation, and that means that for something like an ADATS or a Roland, since you are changing it from, you know, 250 to 390, you're pretty much going up by what, 1.5 or 1.7 multiplier. So that is Gaijin losing that amount of GE. From people golding the vehicles. So this is actually quite a large deal if you see it like that, and also with the price in SL and the crew training costs going up. So this is either a blunder from Gaijin's end or some very, very kind courteous way of introducing these vehicles, so it's a little nicer for the people who wanted to gold them out, or the people who were grinding efficiently using the modifications from other vehicles, grinding out the tiers or the ranks of their modifications to get these. So either way, these at the start of the update, this definitely benefited the player. But all I can think about in my head is how much Gaijin took a hit when it came to people golding these vehicles, because it must have been a pretty big one. The Hunter has actually been decreased as well, but I think it's definitely safe to say it's negligible compared to the other changes. The Super Mystère nearly changed by a multiplicative, is that a word? God, that's a rough one, of 2, whereas the Hunter F6 goes down by 10 grand. So, the big changes here are the fact that the top tier vehicles for ground were put up to their proper prices, and so were stuff like the top tier vehicles like the F86K and the Super Mystère. To me, this just seems like a mistake, which was fixed. The next update is 1.89.1.17. This meant that a bug which caused the research and boost research buttons not to work for some players in the research menu has been fixed. So after the fact that they were having a few issues with the numbers, now the research and the boost research buttons were not working for some people. So luckily that got fixed, because that's one of the main parts of the game for a lot of people. A lot of people see the progression system as the be-all and end-all for War Thunder, being able to grind out that new vehicle and have fun with it. So yeah, it's nice to see that was fixed. A bug which would cause the globe in World War to display graphical artifacts has been fixed. I actually did have this bug. Basically, at least what happened with me is, when you did this with the globe, it just made all the clouds just, at one single spot, just go horizontal and create just like lines around the globe. Also, by the way, if you were part of World War Mode, or your squadron took part, you should have a nice little thing here as well. You can see that the Techie squadron got top 50, so we get this little icon. I thought that was, I thought that was really cool, to be honest. And it does say for the season recon under fire. So hopefully, for the next one, we can get that good old top 25 placing. A bug where the sight wasn't working on the Gazelle helicopters has been fixed. Well, that's good. A nice little change to the French helicopters. And then in update 1.89.1.20, there was a few more bug fixes, and also some replacements. So a bug where the cannon was angled up in the highest possible position in the naval battles has been fixed, thank God, because that was definitely an issue I was running into, where you would fire at an enemy and then your shots would just disappear into the atmosphere. The Type 44 number 2 450mm torpedo has been replaced with the Type 2 450mm torpedo. Torpedo mode modifications have been removed. The experience and currency for the research modifications will be returned to the players. These changes affected the following boats: the T-14, T-14 Mod 01, T-38, and T-51B. So something is telling me that these are the lower tier fleet ones. Yeah, the T-1, the T-38, the T-14, and what was the other one? Well, let's just have a look. The T-51B, which is somewhere, I'm sure of it. But the main thing with it, oh, here we go, it's this one. So they've changed the torpedoes across the board. I will actually make a comment on the Japanese tree. I've been trying to grind it out, and to be honest, the rank 1 is not really disappointing, it's just a bit rough. Like, the T1 is just, it's just the British Reserve, but worse because of the amount of guns on it. Then the Caro Type 2 is okay, but it doesn't have access to torpedoes, so you don't have that style of gameplay. The T-38 is once again okay, but the weaponry is disappointing, and the T-14 once again is okay. None of these really stand out. So far, I would say I much preferred the British grind, because, the Fairmile was a lot more fun, the MGB-61, the Vosper series was fun, the Soviets rank 1 is really fun as well, with the MO4 and the BMO and stuff like that. The German rank 1 with the R boots and the S-38s, once again, very fun. And the Americans were also incredibly fun at lower tiers. But so far, the Japanese, when it comes to their fleet, I've been struggling. I've been struggling hard to be able to get into the Type 5 and and then you look at these machines and you're like, oh, well, these are really, really bad. And then the CH8, the CH2 and the CH8, oh, it gets a little bit better. And then you realize, like, why is this thing 9,000 RP and this thing is like 11,000 RP? Doesn't really make sense when this is infinitely better than the AB tie. Like, some of the RP costs are a bit all over the place for Japan, but yeah. Anyway, the Type 93 610mm torpedo has been replaced with the Type 90 610mm torpedo. The torpedo mode modification has been added. The changes affected to the following destroyers: the Fubuki and the Mitsuki. Right, so they've changed their torpedoes, and also, if you don't know what the torpedo mode modification is, and you have a look at the Mitsuki, you can see it right here. What it basically does is it increases the max distance when it comes to your torpedo, but it does lower the torpedo max speed. So depending on what you want to use it for, right? If you want to use it to do like a quick hit on somebody, then obviously you don't want torpedo mode to be there. But if you want it to, fire across the map, then you want to use it. I'm hoping that soon I can get to, the destroyers and the light cruisers and the heavy cruisers of the Japanese. I'm sure I'll be grinding them, over the week, and I should get to them. But it's been a bit of a pain getting through the rank 1. The AB TIE serial, the machine guns have been transferred to the auxiliary weapons group. That's good. That means that, we can... you can basically pick what you actually want to use instead of being stuck with one set of guns. The PGO-2, the crew has been redistributed within the superstructure of the ship. Now, it's interesting. So, I've seen a lot of complaints about the PGO-2. A lot of people really don't like it. They don't like the fact that they're getting torn apart by this machine. My experiences have been like, well, it seems pretty good, but there are still machines out there I would rather be in at the same BR. So the main thing is it has this like APDS round, which is tearing people apart. Like if you go into a test drive with this thing and you shoot like the ship in front of you, you'll see that you can rip apart people within a second. But the thing is, there are ships at 3.3 or around 3.3 which can do exactly the same thing to the PGO-2. I've been playing, like, watch this, right? So you do that, and it's dead. Right? It's just very easy. It is incredibly easy to take out other ships. And, that means that you live in, like, this feast or famine mode, where, because this thing is quite easy to kill, there's no armor on it, its survivability is quite low. The only thing that's got is speed. The smoke launchers are useless when it comes to trying to keep alive. So this thing is either going to kill you quickly or you're going to kill it quickly. So in the hands of a really good player, a PGO-2 can like take over the match. But at the same time, if you're a really good player, this thing, which is pretty much the same BR, the LCS-L3 at 3.7 with its 4 40mm Bofors and also its set of 8 20mm Oerlikons, can take over a match. I would rather be in this thing every day of the week instead of a PGO-2. It's as simple as that. Like this will just annihilate PGO-2s. And also because of the range of the PGO-2, stuff like, I've been using the barges, which are obviously lower BR than it. I've been outranging it with 88s and from the Schwer and the AFD-1, and been doing pretty good in it. The only issue is when I'm in something like an S100, the PG absolutely annihilates me. So all you have to really do is outrange the damn thing, which isn't too hard to do around 3.3. You've got a lot of guns that outrange it, but against PT boats, yes, you will get absolutely annihilated by the PGO-2. But in other actual battle boats, I think it's completely fine. Like, I think a lot of people are not really overreacting to the PGO-2, but they're having one bad experience and going, oh god, this thing's broken. Then you got the Chikugo, which is always going to be hard for me to say. A bug when the ship gets stuck on the ground when the ground has been fixed. That's good because it was basically the sonar detector, or I shouldn't call it the sonar detector, but but the let's just call it the lip on the bottom. This right. A lot of people were saying, on the dev server, oh, this is for sonar, and I was like, yeah, that's true. It's good observation. The issue it seemed like it was like hitting ground when it shouldn't have been. So therefore, it was digging in the ship, even though it wasn't really touching the ground. So it's nice to see that seems to have been fixed. And then we have a performance bug. A bug where in battles on certain configurations, a short-term performance degradation could be observed has been fixed. Oh, that's good. I'm guessing that would be like weird pixel effects or anything like that. Then we had massive economy changes for the Japanese Navy. And people who were clever researched the Type 11 and the Chikugo very quickly once they saw the update come out, because they saw the prices and went, what the hell, this is nothing like other nations. So if you look at the Type 11 and the Chikugo, they were 26 grand and 36 grand, and they sit here in rank 2, right? Let's just put that into perspective. So for rank 2, for every other nation, 75,000, 120,000, 89,000, 75,000. Then you look at the Soviets, you've got 220,000, 270,000 for the PR-206M. Then for the Germans, of course, you have this craziness with 270,000, 270,000. And then the US, you have the LCS at 89 and the Asheville at 270. So to see the Type 11 and the Chikugo at respectively 26,000 and 36,000 was insane, like compared to every other tree. So it wasn't a surprise when these two got bumped up. The Type 11, which is like the premium PT boats for the Japanese, going up to 75,000, and the Chikugo going to 220,000. So this brings them in line with every other nation, whether you agree with it or not. I still kind of find it a little bit ridiculous that the Chikugo, and this is the same for every other nation. I've made the same arguments for every other nation. The Chikugo, a 3.7 subchaser at 220,000, is more expensive than, I'm pretty sure, all of these combined. So 18,000, 36,000, so what's that? That's 46,000, that's around, let's just say 60k, right, for these two, just to be generous. Then you add in another 60k, so 120,000, add in 75k, you're sat at what, 195, so let's say 200 grand, right? That's still less than the Chikugo, and that's being generous. So you can either get 4 destroyers, you can get all of the destroyers in the Japanese tree, or you can get a Chikugo. Like, it's not a good sell. And I understand why this is, because of the fact that, the way that the tech tree is set out, it has to be like this, to make sure that, you actually get some good grinding in. But even look at it like this. You can either get the Furutaka, or you can get the Agano and the Kako for the same price as the Chikugo. Like, it's a tough sell for a lot of people, and I understand why people are annoyed, but I also understand why the system is like it is. The Yugamo, and also the Akazuki, they went up in RP as well, but definitely not as much as the Type 11 and Chikugo. Also, what is nice is the RP multipliers for all of these machines were increased, along with everything else. So even though the costs across the board went up, the RP multiplier also went up. I'm not sure the SL multiplier went up though, so they are going to be a little bit more expensive to run. You can see like the rewards for them when it comes to the SL are really low. Even the RP is pretty low on these machines, but at least it's better than it was before. It would be nice to see a little bit of increase when it comes to SL, for these naval ships. I know that a lot of people in the naval community in War Thunder have been talking about the issues that they are having with silver lines and keeping afloat. I've got to investigate it more personally. Then we had another update, update 1.89.1.33. This was on the 6th, and for the ME-264, a bug that caused unstable engine operation at altitudes above 6,000 meters has been fixed. I should be having a video talking about the ME-264. Now, a lot of people are looking at the repair costs and going a little bit crazy, and then when you look at the stats for it, you realize it isn't actually that crazy. Like, the ME-264, I have it spaded. It's sat right here, and I still have 6 free repairs on it. So you can see that they've actually not lowered the repair cost because I'm in arcade, but you can see that with its full maxed out repair cost is 53,000, right? I've still got 6 free repairs. I'm fully spaded on this, so I still have 6 flyouts where I can make money in this thing without having to worry about anything else, right? So if we have a look at battles and try and find the ME-264, which might be kind of hard to do because I can't remember where it is, but I could probably just do this because I've made about 100k in the thing. Let's see. Sometimes it's just hard to find machines. You know how they have like a search function for the they have like a search function for the tech tree. It would be kind of nice to have like a search tree for this as well. There we go. So ME-264, I've had 8 battles in it, 6 wins, so 75%. I've had 8 respawns, 4 deaths, 17 ground kills, made 100,000 SL. Now, obviously, I'm running premium with this thing, so understand that this may be cut in half for a lot of people, but still, in 8 flyouts, I've been able to fully spade this machine, and I will tell you right now, Scout's honor, 3 of these deaths were me crashing the damn thing. Trying to land it, because I wanted to test, how good its wheels were, and to be honest, it's quite hard to land on a lot of these small airfields that we see in a lot of the missions. So there was 1 match out of 8 where I was shot down, and that was by a P-61, and he annihilated me. But that is why the repair cost is so high in this thing, because it's very hard to kill. It's kind of as simple as that. So yeah, just always remember to, instead of just looking at numbers, try and work out why the numbers are the way they are, because otherwise, you're going to get very much a false picture of what's going on. The LA-9, the operation of the automatic cooling system, has been corrected. Now the automated operation keeps the radiator flaps in the closed position for longer in wet mode. That's good. That brings it in line with pretty much every other machine in the game. The T-51B guidance limits for the triple aft unit have been amended. Good. The AB TIE Serial and Pioneer, the little tug-tug riverboats, the vehicle speed gaining dynamics have been amended. Okay. The reload time for the 13.2mm machine gun has been changed from 2.5 to 2.0 seconds. That actually does make a little bit of a difference. One of the problems, you know how I talked about the grind through the Japanese is a little bit tiresome, or at least so far it just hasn't felt good. One of the biggest issues, stuff like the T-38 and the T-14, at least to me, have, is the clip size on a lot of these guns. So you can see this thing has 15 clip on the 25. So bang, 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 boom, bang, and it's out. And it takes a while to reload, and then bang, 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 bang. You can see how getting off like a bunch of continuous rounds is not something that's easy to do in this. And you compare that to other nations, Britain with its MTB series, they may not be the most powerful guns, but you can get a lot of ammo off at a very short time. Obviously the LS3, it's still got its like overheating mechanic, where it seems to be more belt fed than anything else. It doesn't come in clips, you just got a full 600 rounds, so you can fire at your leisure. Which is lovely. Then you got the 50 cals from the US, which have much more clip size, and the one it's kind of similar to is the Dishkas, and the Dishkas are really annoying to use at low tier because you want that constant fire power instead of, you know, this little clip noise. And all of these machines here, even though they all have different guns on them, they all have that same issue, and it's annoying, especially when you've got a low crew, when your your reload isn't up there. Post-drop bomb detonation caused by nearby aircraft or helicopter explosion has been fixed. I don't know if you personally have killed a plane when it's just dropped its bomb and it's, you know, exploded and blown up the plane, but my god is it satisfying. When we were playing World War mode as, the squadron, there was a lot of times where, you know, Ju-87s would come down, or, you know, some other machine would come down, and then tick, tick, boom, it would blow up the Ju-87 because it would hit the bomb that was just dropped. It was absolutely fantastical having about 20 people sat there awing at a plane getting blown up by its own bomb. The mass of the explosive substance in the Heffy T shell for the HC-45 cannon has been corrected. A bug where on systems based on Linux where some short lags in battles has been fixed. Well, that's good. A bug where sound of searching for the target with heat seeking continues after the player's vehicle has been destroyed or exited has been fixed. Okay, so pretty much all of these sounds after you're dead disappear, which is nice. I'd just like to thank B. Young, Blackie, Cyborg James, Daniel Stanton, John Ryman, Martinez, Matati, Moxie, Nito, Nick Graham, Alobralo, Sebastian Corona, Super Cacti, and Elove Goat and Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.